Okay, we just did the Black Widow review. Just got it posted like yesterday. We're continuing already with Loki. The finale aired today. Our audio's all messed up. This video's probably gonna sound different, and I'm gonna try to keep the editing to a minimum. So this one might be a little bit different, but we're just trying to get it out. Okay, so Kernan, what are your overall thoughts on Loki?
I thought it was very strong up until I've had some time to think about it, which I still think it's very good. It did start very strong. The last couple episodes dropped the ball, and I think it also leaves like a very big impact. Like at first it's like, whoa, time travel and so many good characters that like at first it seemed like a very, very almost perfect show to me. But I've hence realized that it has a lot of problems.
I'll say that I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was probably the strongest of these Disney Plus shows so far.
Agreed.
Maybe WandaVision gives it a little bit of a run for its money, but I would say this is the best. The problem I have with this is it just confused me. And I'm still confused about the logic of this season and their whole time travel logic. And for someone who is a huge fan of a show that deals entirely with time travel and complicated plots with time travel and stuff like that, you'd think I'd be better at comprehending what they're trying to say here. But I'm still so confused by it. So we'll get into that a little bit more. But as for right now, what I really liked about it, Tom Hiddleston, he was amazing. I didn't realize that he could hold his own in his own movie or TV show like this as well as he did. Him and Owen Wilson, and I don't know who played Sylvie. I'm sure you do. What's her name?
I do. Sophie DiMartino.
Sophie DiMartino. They were amazing. So that was a huge plus. That's kind of what is at the center of what makes it good, I guess. And then everything else, like he was saying, I think it started really strong. But towards the end, I got even more confused. If I can find that there were logical explanations to these questions I had that I just missed or something, then those criticisms go away. And really, I'm not left with much else to criticize.
Oh, alright. I still have a lot to criticize. For one, I felt like it was kind of a lot of talking. In episode 1, it was a lot of Loki and Mobius, which it's very good still because of Tom Hiddleston's emotion and Owen Wilson's performance in general was very good. In episode 2, there was a lot of talking, but it was mixed in with like a lot of energy, so it was good. Episode 3 was great for other reasons, but episode 4, there was a lot of talking. It was a lot of like, Mobius is over here talking, now he's with that person, and he's talking to B-15. Episode 5's fine, and episode 6, I still consider it a pretty good finale, but that was just a lot of just like Sylvie and Loki sitting down and talking. A lot of talking.
You have problems with talking, I guess. Okay, I'm just gonna get into what my hang-ups are and what I'm getting so confused about. First of all, the main thing is I'm confused on what a variant is. Because we learned that anyone who veers outside of the sacred timeline, the TVA comes and puts them back in the right flow of time and all that, which totally is fine with me. But what I don't understand is why there are so many different looking Lokis. Because if Loki keeps diverging from the sacred timeline, he should just be the same person. If there's different versions of Loki, that means that there are different universes and a multiverse, and the whole thing they're trying to say is that there's only one universe. So where are these other variants coming from? I still have not found an explanation for that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that until you told me about it, but yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It's possible we just missed something. Please tell us if we did. But I've looked up an explanation for this, and I still can't figure out what these variants actually are. So that's my biggest problem with the whole show, really. And another question I have is at the end of episode 2, when Sylvie sets off all those reset chargers or whatever all over the timeline and creates all these branches, what happens with that? Because the next we see of the sacred timeline, it's all fine. Again, unless there's something I'm missing, it seems like they just skipped over how they fixed all of that. Because by the end, the timeline is branching all out into chaos again, and I'm like, didn't that just happened, at the end of episode 2.
Yeah, that I realized immediately.
And then I'm confused by what happened in the finale as well with, what do they call him? He Who Remains.
Yeah.
And how killing him led to the timeline branching out again. Or I don't know if it was actually killing him that led to that.
Yeah. No, because
but
he
I don't
died
know.
after the timeline.
Yeah, but I don't understand what caused it to branch out like that.
Neither do I.
And being confused is not necessarily a bad thing, just so long as there are answers in there somewhere. Which I'm still assuming, giving the benefit of the doubt, that there are answers to most of these things in there somewhere that I just haven't found. And I very much appreciate that. I love shows that confuse me. But I just hope the answers are there somewhere.
The one thing that really stood out to me about this show is that the action, there's a scarcity in action. And I think that's why, because when we get it, maybe like just a little bit, every like 2 episodes, we're like yearning for it almost. And when it comes, it's great and it's satisfying and I love it.
It really looks like this is going to have big implications for the MCU going forward, with the creation, seemingly, of the multiverse. And I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like a Disney Plus show having this big of an effect on the overall universe. I don't think I really like the fact that they're now making it so you have to subscribe to their streaming service to follow what's going on. By the end of WandaVision, it was kind of clear to me, because we were having all these theories about how it's going to tie into stuff. But at the end of WandaVision, I was like, okay, I can kind of appreciate that they're not really they're going to find a good balance to not completely tie this in so that you can watch these things separately and not need to see these Disney Plus shows. But by the end of this, it looks like this is going to have like massive implications.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think I really like that. Okay, so I think it's just so perfect that Loki literally falls in love with himself in this show. That is just so perfect for Loki.
I've heard people say like, oh, it's weird that Loki falls in love with himself. But I mean, really think about it. You have the most in common with that person. You trust that person. Mostly, I mean, with them it's hard. But
yeah, it makes sense. Especially for Loki. Okay, so what do we know about Kang and him going forward? Because he's listed as supposedly being the villain in the next Ant-Man movie, but seems like his reach is going to be a lot bigger than that.
I'm pretty sure, like comics-wise, Kang's a time traveler.
Doesn't he sit in a floaty chair?
I have no idea.
Anyway, okay. So I think that's everything. I mean, there are tons of little details I could pick out about this of things I loved about this show. Like all of episode 3, can complain that it's not very consequential to the overall story and stuff. I think that was just amazing, getting to see the dynamic between the 2 Lokis on that alien planet. And just the way they did that felt very Doctor Who-y to me, and I just loved it. But overall, I think it was great. I'm just confused still.
I would say that it is a very well done show that strived. Is that its word? What's the word?
Strived is a word.
But like, I'm gonna go with it. That strived in its character dynamics.
Strived was not the right word there.
Yeah. I'm very excited to see. It did have big consequences. I'm very excited to see what that leads to in like Multiverse of Madness.
And there's a season 2 coming too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, who knows what could happen. Okay, I think that's it. So, thanks for watching, and goodbye.
See you later.